yeah, if there was a homeless person in Singapore, a van would just pull up and they get put in the van,
No.
and then, well, nobody would see them ever again.
Sweet lemons.
Yeah, I see. So you were raised in Singapore, or did you just go to school?
I went to high school in Singapore.
How was that?
Brilliant place to go to school.
Yeah.
Safest country in the world.
Is it?
I mean, yeah.
But is that the place where like chewing gum?
Chewing gum is illegal. I mean, you can't even buy it.
Really?
They don't sell it in the shop, so.
Fucking hell, man.
Mate, sometimes me and my mates would like come back from other countries and like smuggle gum. Seriously, like Pablo Escobar.
That's fucking tragic. I love it.
He'd turn up at school and you with the tin of extra. Hey, hello, I got here, mate.
Oh man, I would miss that so much. I love gum so much.
Yeah,
So it's the safest country in the world.
yeah. I can't remember there being a crime
Yeah.
ever, to be honest. It was totally safe. Like my 12-year-old sister could just take taxis by herself. It would be totally fine.
Wow.
It's a totally law-abiding
Yeah.
country, and how that works is very, very strict laws,
Of course.
and a culture of following those laws. It's not the most exciting place in the world.
Really?
I think you need a bit of edge. Like, London has a bit of edge to it,
Yeah.
but Singapore has no edge whatsoever. There are so many things that are illegal,
Yeah.
and nobody does any of them.
Mm.
And some people could see that as infringing on your personal liberties and human rights, but the government doesn't see it that way, and you don't really have any position to argue with them.
How do you see it?
Um,
Like, would you, if you could build the perfect like society, country, would you want that?
I think a lot of it is very sensible.
Mm.
Look, there's a lot of just cutting off problems at the source. So, for example, being homeless is illegal. And that's how they've solved the homeless problem.
That's okay. All right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Singapore is its model really only works for small countries
Yeah.
who you can kind of easily manage, because Singapore is only 5 million people
Oh, I didn't know that.
on an island only 50 miles wide. It's just an island.
Of course, of course.
So it definitely wouldn't work in this country. But it's so well managed that they actually have more homes than people.
Really?
Yeah,
That's mad.
because they also have, a low and controlled birth rate, and they basically don't let any immigrants in whatsoever.
Really?
So they haven't had sort of housing,
Problems.
migrant crises, population problems like that,
Yeah.
just because they're just so strict about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty difficult for our family to move there.
Yeah.
Like my dad had to set up a branch of his business, and then he works at that business, and then you have to get business address, and then everybody else has to get it all done. So you need proper reason to go there. But yeah, if there was a homeless person in Singapore, a van would just pull up and they get put in the van,
No.
and then, well, nobody would see them ever again. I'm not saying anything. I don't know where they go. All I'm saying is I've actually never seen one.
That's fucking that's great.
There's no graffiti.
Yeah.
Because that's illegal, and they will just imprison you.
Really?
Yeah. So we have some friends who during lockdown, which by the way, they had 2 full years of lockdown.
Really?
2 years.
2 full years.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah, because they were like, we have a zero tolerance policy about this, and people follow the rules.
Yeah.
We know some friends who aren't Singaporean, they're expats.
Yeah.
Who had a dinner party during
Oh,
lockdown, and the
jeez.
police found out. They came in and they said, you have 40 hours to leave the country, and you can never come back.
Fucking
Yeah, I know. It's hardcore,
fucking hell.
but like when you're there, it's probably, and no country is perfect, of course, but it's not a country with huge problems like even modern civilized Western countries are.
Yeah.
Like the UK is, with the problems with the NHS and all this
Yeah,
stuff, all
yeah.
this overcrowding, extremely expensive housing, rental,
Yeah.
cost of living crisis. Like they don't have that much things like that, because it's just all managed by the government
Of
directly,
course, of
and they're
course.
not like the Kim family.
Yeah.
They're like it is essentially a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And it's not particularly democratic.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an election, but
it's not real.
And it is a family business in the same way the Kim family in North Korea is, except they're just not like dicks about it. So the system, North Korea basically has the same system, except it's got the wrong bloke in charge.
Yeah.
So everyone lives in abject poverty.
Yeah.
Under a tyrannical regime of a nutter.
That's
instead
mad.
of like an educated and considerate guy.
Yeah.
Who's just trying to do the best for everybody.
Yeah, that's mad. Because I wouldn't even have thought of Singapore as like a place run by a dictator. But we only really call it a dictator when they're doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
But when